Hello and welcome to Sky Career Talks, why we display why it's great to learn with us and communicate. I'm your host, David James. With the love of creating and amplifying special moments, Samantha Brancato transitioned into PR following an internship with the Walt Disney Company in 2018. Through a series of internships for agencies including Coin PR, Sam has worked on public relations projects for brands including CeraVe, Tums, Alka-Seltzer, and Peeps. Sam holds a BA in communications, specializing in public relations, and a BA in English from Rutgers University, where she graduated magna cum laude. She was a member of Lambda Pi Eta, Sigma Alpha Pi, and Rutgers Residence Life. She also worked for Rutgers Student Centers and Activities Marketing Department, where she gained experience in event photography and social media campaigns. Sam has also created and taught her own class on communication while a senior at Rutgers on behalf of the Rutgers Career Exploration and Success Program. We hope you'll enjoy this insightful chat today. We now present to you my interview with Sam Brancato.
So thank you for taking the time to be here with me, Sam, and being able to be in conversation with you about your career journey. Before we begin, I want to ask, how are you today?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So to kick us off, give us a brief overview of your career journey.
Yeah, so I graduated from Rutgers in May of 2021. So my career journey actually technically starts with some of the internships I did while I was at Rutgers. So um, I had a couple of smaller ones. I did work for the Walt Disney Company when I was a sophomore. I did their Disney College program. That was my first like real world experience. So I did that in the fall of 2018, and then I did a couple of other PR internships because originally, I thought I was going to be an English teacher, and then I did the internship with Disney, and I realized that being more like people facing and relationship building was really what I wanted to do. So I kind of pivoted into Sky. Then I figured out that public relations was exactly what I wanted to do. So I did a couple of internships at a small agency that was just starting out. There was like 5 people, and then I moved up and I did an internship with Coin PR in the spring of my senior year, and then I ended up getting a full-time job with Violet PR. So started there as an account coordinator in June of 2021. And I've worked my way up to an account executive as of now, which is November 2022. So I've kind of been with the same company since I graduated, but it's been a really great experience. It's been really good for kind of putting me on a quick trajectory for career growth. So yeah, that's kind of my walkthrough of my career so far. I know I'm pretty early into it, but I've been having a good time.
Yeah, that's great. So what does a normal day look like for you?
That is a loaded question, isn't it? So PR, obviously, like it's not the same thing every day. But my work does fall into 2 main buckets. So part of that is media relations. So a day could be anything from building a media list, which is that list of targets that you're trying to send your pitch to talking with clients and strategizing for new ideas, drafting a pitch, coordinating with media and setting up interviews, putting out a press release. It could be any of that stuff. And we also dabble in social media. So my day can kind of shift day to day depending on like what we have going on, the news cycle, what our priorities are for that week. So there's no like typical, I know it's not the best answer, but there really is no like typical day, but those are like kind of the buckets that I work within. And so a lot of my work will fall under that umbrella.
Oh, that's what, yeah, because no 2 days are the same, right?
Never, ever.
And it really is dependent on what's happening. And also in terms of your clients, would you say it sort of deviates from the usual 9 to 5 model? Because I'm sure there are some days you have to work longer hours, right, to accommodate your clients'
Yeah.
needs.
It definitely depends. So we had a pretty big announcement that went out over the summer. We helped Kansas City promote the large Panasonic investment that was there. So it was $4 billion and 8,000 jobs, and they decided that they wanted to announce it 6 p.m. their time, so they're in Central. So our night was a bit shifted that day. We ended up working until like 8 or 9 p.m. just by the time we got the news out and we started tracking some of the coverage. And then like this morning, for example, I had a client event that started at 9:30, so I had to be on site at 8:30. So it was a little bit outside of the work hours, but I would say on a normal day, like when we don't have big announcements and stuff, it's probably like 9 to 6 is really what I end up working, and then a couple of extra hours here or there, just depending on what our team structure looks like, if we have people out, and what the news cycle is doing.
Okay, so what type of skills do you think students need to start leveraging now, both technical and interpersonal?
So for PR, there's definitely two different buckets. So you have to kind of hone your project management skills, your time management skills, and your writing skills. So I guess the writing stuff would be most technical. But we also do, like, a lot of what we do day to day is building relationships within our team, with our clients, with journalists we work with. So there definitely is that interpersonal aspect too. My biggest advice, I would say, with like trying to build those skills now is to just take as many PR classes as you can, because a lot of what I learned, like the basics, the informational part of knowing like how to structure a press release and stuff like that, came from classes I took while I was at Rutgers. So learning those writing skills, it really starts in the classroom, and then the technical interpersonal skills, like you really have a personality for this industry. It's a matter of just kind of finding what fits with what your personality is already doing, and then those real world experiences, the internships, any full-time jobs after, those are where you really hone in on the technical skills, and you even further like flourish into yourself, into the publicist that you're going to be, just from like practicing, honestly.
So how does one get into this field? Is it through portfolios or having a social media or LinkedIn presence? And is having a website also crucial in this day and age? And also, I guess the second part of that question is how crucial is networking to landing a position in this industry?
I would say, to answer the first part of your question, having a LinkedIn presence is very important. I know my LinkedIn profile was actually built through one of Dr. Erin Christie's classes. It was like an assignment. We had to blow it out and kind of build it out as far as we could. That has set me up for success in that I have essentially a working resume. So it kind of functions as a resume and a portfolio for me. When I get client placements, like my really big ones, I'll link directly into my LinkedIn account, so that if a recruiter is looking, or if maybe a client is looking and wants to kind of see like what work I've done in the past, they have that all there. So LinkedIn was kind of like a first step for me. And then I do have a portfolio that I work out of when it comes down to building out my resume. I try to track like big things I've done, successes I've had. As a student, I tracked some of the more interesting assignments that I did. So for example, like I took one of Professor Beal's classes, and we did an RFP response. And so that was something that actually my current employer was very impressed with when I presented that as a writing sample. And having that portfolio like to build off of has helped make it easier when I was just applying to jobs and stuff. So I would say the portfolio is probably a good thing to have in your back pocket. LinkedIn is definitely a great thing to build out, and that also can function as essentially your portfolio. And then networking is really key to getting any of these jobs, especially if you're trying to get your foot in the door at a larger company. It just kind of helps you get noticed, because a lot of times like the applicant tracking system is really tight on exactly what they're looking for. But if you have somebody that can refer you to the job, like you can sometimes bypass that. I did also like leverage some of my relationships with professors while I was at Rutgers. So Professor Beal actually made an introduction on my behalf to Point PR, and then I had an interview, and then obviously got the job from that, because we did previously talk about how I interned with them, but I leaned on him quite a bit to kind of guide me and help me make those connections. And then since then, I mean, even in my role at Violet, I am the internship program coordinator right now. So I do get students that'll be like, have a note that says referred by Mark Beal. And of course, I open those messages because I know him and I trust his guidance, and I kind of go back and forth with students that way. So networking, whether you're doing it by yourself, just a cold message on LinkedIn, or whether someone's doing it on your behalf, is definitely a good way to get your foot in the door.
And is there a favorite part, I guess going back to your day in working in public relations, is there a favorite part of the job or something that motivates you, drives you every day?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely getting those results for clients. So, you know, we put on these really complicated campaigns sometimes, especially like Violet PR is focused on economic development. So it's a bit different than what you would typically think of a PR agency looking like. So we're able to pull together these campaigns and really like at the end of them, when we track the coverage and we showcase all the articles we got or whatever the impact was and how it kind of matches with our clients' goals, that stuff has been my favorite part, because to see the direct impact that my work is having on the communities I work in, it's just incredible. So everything kind of ties into that. All of my strategy from the beginning, the pitching, the media relations, like interview coordination, stuff like that. I love to see it just kind of culminate at the very end and be this big like report that says, hey, here's all we did for you this month. And a lot of times clients are very happy with what we provide them. So then that's the extra like fire lit underneath me, you know, because I just want to do it again and again and again.
So, to end, are there any lasting words of wisdom you could provide students or perhaps your younger self that you wish you knew?
I think, you know, it's really important to kind of start on this as early as you can. So even if it's just a matter of, you know, getting involved at Rutgers and kind of using those positions held in internal organizations, or even just your work to kind of showcase that you are more than just a student. You know, you're more than just what you think should go on paper. A lot of those well-roundedness activities, they come back and they really support you like later on down the road. So I would say a big piece of advice is to get involved as soon as you can, and to do things that kind of push you out of your comfort zone. So you might think that you have this idea of how your career path is going to go, or how, like what career you even want to get into. And then the second you push yourself out of your comfort zone, you'll either completely like confirm that this is exactly what you want to do, or you'll realize, hey, I think there's actually a different career that kind of suits me better, and that I will be more successful or have more fun or just overall be happier in. So to get involved, but to push yourself out of your comfort zone would be one thing I would also like recommend to myself as a younger person, but also just, you know, lasting words of advice for any Rutgers students that are looking to really challenge themselves and see what their life could end up looking like.
But to also maybe look into other fields or industries to sort of figure out, okay, my passion is communications and public relations, but also this is an industry perhaps I could utilize and leverage that within that industry, whether it's entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity public relations, or even political public relations. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. There's different like industries that you can get in within the field. So even if you decide like, you know, publicity is where I want to be, like I don't know if I would have necessarily saw myself at an economic development focused agency, because I didn't even really know that it existed. But I just kind of happened upon it on LinkedIn, and I ended up talking with a couple of the staffers that were here that end up now are like my direct boss and my manager. And they really, you know, showed this passion for what they do, and they showed me that it could be fun. And so while it's not exactly the lifestyle consumer focus I thought I was going to be in, you know, I really love that I get to make that impact on the communities I work within. So yeah, I would say even like challenging what you imagine like your industry to look like, finding that back door into a B2B side, or like you could even be an in-house publicist for like Google one day. Like everybody needs communication, everybody needs marketing and publicity, and so it all kind of falls together. So really the sky is the limit with a comms degree, especially if you're looking to get into the field of public relations.
And I like that you've mentioned impact a couple of times, and I believe social impact and having that direct relationship with the community is so important, especially since we're now, the public is now, and corporations are implementing corporate social responsibility, social impact, as well as a focus in on the environment, sustainability, DEI, and really thinking about, how can they contribute good not only domestically within communities, but globally.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better parts of my job is that I get to see exactly the work that I've done and what it has led to for the certain communities that we do partner with.
Well, thank you, Sam. I really enjoyed getting to know your insights, but also your personalized career journey so far. And thank you for taking the time to be able to be in conversation with us today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
That again was my interview with Sam Brancato. We look forward to connecting with Sam very soon. Thank you all for joining us for another edition of Sky Career Talks. And be sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe. Also follow our LinkedIn group page, Sky Career Corners, to connect with our brilliant students and alumni. Until next time, I'm David James. Take care.